Hi everyone, welcome to Wellness Wednesday with 3W. As you can probably tell, it's me, Helen Nguyen, CEO of 3W Medical for Women. I'm in the studio today with our dear volunteer, Ganling Zhang. He's been with us for about a year now, right, Ganling?
Yeah, a year and a half almost.
Oh my gosh, wow. Yeah, it's like you came and then never left, so it's been great.
That's
We're
me.
yeah, super grateful. So Ganling is joining us today. He's going to be sharing his experience as a volunteer that primarily helps the medical staff, our medical staff here. But I thought it would be an interesting perspective since he's a guy and he helps out in a women's clinic. So I just thought it would be interesting for maybe other men who are interested in volunteering with us or interested in women's health, why it's not so odd, to have someone like that. So,
Absolutely.
So Ganling, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What year are you in at school and where are you from?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Helen. My name is Ganling, and I am a senior, or this is my 5th year at University of Washington. I'm doing a double degree in psychology and biochemistry here at UW. And I am an international student from China.
Okay.
And so that's my whole background.
Awesome. That's so cool. And how did you find us?
Yeah, this is really fun because I found 3W Women Clinic was by total accident. I was walking on the street fair with my friends and I saw Helen, I saw Taylor, who also works here, and they were just really nice and they were just we just had a great time, and I was like, oh, can I volunteer for you guys? And they said, yeah, I knew how to interview and everything, so it was good.
Okay, very cool. So the process was you found us at the street fair, the UW Street Fair, and that was like 2 years ago?
That was 2
years ago.
For sure.
And then you applied to be a volunteer here, right? Did you look us up? Did you look up our website?
I did. It was really nice and it looked really clean. I was like, oh, I love it. And I read some reviews as well, and people really love the clinic. So
Awesome. And those good reviews made a difference.
For sure.
Okay, very good. And then you sent in your resume?
I did, yeah. Okay. I emailed a resume, CV, and everything like that. So.
Awesome. And how was your first impression when you came in and did the interview with us? What was your first impression of who we were and the space? Yeah,
the space was really clean, really neat, and I really liked the color. Just made it feel like home and feel safe and everything. So I really liked it. First impression was awesome. And I was just really glad to find a clinic that's in U District, that's close to my school, and also really nice as well.
Okay, very cool. And why were you hesitant that our scope was primarily women's health, reproductive health? I mean, we do serve men as well specifically for our STI testing and treatment services, but why women's healthcare?
Yeah, I think it was definitely, to be honest, out of my comfort zone. But I think women's healthcare is definitely something that's not being talked about enough. And a lot of women who come here are very underserved or underrepresented. So I thought it was a great opportunity for me to make not a difference, but just to help out a little bit with the clinic. And I thought it was just a great opportunity for me to learn, to grow as a person, and as just somebody to learn, I think.
And your future goals, how does this match your experiences here? How is that preparing you for future profession? Where are you planning on going? So my goal is going into medical school. And I think this experience in particular has helped me a lot and to become the person I am today. So I haven't really started applying yet, but so far I've just learned a lot from this clinic. So. Okay. From can you give us a little bit more example, like from your, I guess, like what do you do here? What's your role here? I know I mentioned that you help out with the medical team, but do you help out with intake? What else do you do when you're here?
Yeah, absolutely. So right from the start, when the patient enters clinic, I start to help out by greeting the patient, and I would do patient intake and just sit down and have a conversation with the patient, basically taking down the information that we need the providers to know. And then I would hand off the patient to the provider, and the provider would look over the history, the things that,
need to be talked about.
Need to be talked about, exactly. And from there, I would go to the back of the room, maybe do some labs. I run urine analysis. I do pregnancy tests, which are very hands-on stuff that it was really helpful for me to learn about.
So have you volunteered at other places like ours before that does medical stuff before?
Yes, I have actually. I have done a lot of volunteering back in China during my summertime.
Very cool. Okay. How about here in the States?
I have not.
Okay.
Here in the States, I have not.
Okay. How has your experience here differ from other volunteer experiences in your past? Has it been more or less hands-on for you? What's the difference?
Yeah, definitely. I was volunteering at an OR room back in China, and it was very busy. Each day we see a lot of patients, and I was not doing a lot of hands-on stuff besides help moving the patients in and out the OR room and cleaning a little bit, but not so much as hands-on as what I do here. And I feel like I've definitely learned a lot more about the procedures that we have to do in a clinic and things like that. So that's the biggest difference for me.
Okay, so being in the room with the patient, has it been helpful for you listening to Dr. Rutherford talk to patients, bedside manner kind of situation?
Absolutely. That's probably one of my biggest takeaways. Dr. Rutherford is amazing at talking to patient, communicating with patient, and I just feel like I learned so much just being in the same room with her and the patients, and I just feel like it's an awesome learning experience. And we also have nurse practitioner such as Christy, and also Annabelle, who's our medical assistant. They're also all super great with patients, and I feel like just listening to them, talking to them really helped me a lot.
Okay. So your experience here, you say, has benefited you and made you feel more reassured in going into the medical world, I'm assuming?
Yes.
And do you feel like inspired, like, I can do what they do one day? And it's been a great experience to see that?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's so much we don't know about women's health and women's body, and it's really interesting for sure for me too.
Did you have certain assumptions of what women's health was going to look like before you came to 3W, and have we been able to help with those assumptions or change your mind about some stuff?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest, not assumption I would say, but one of the biggest difference I've noticed prior to coming to the clinic was how much education that we do to patients.
Okay.
So here at the clinic, all the providers would go through each symptoms, each different preventions that you can do with those symptoms. And it's just been a great learning experience just to hear the providers educating on the patient, educating to the patients.
Right.
I think that's something I noticed.
From a male perspective, how has it been with your interactions with female patients? Has that been a little odd sometimes? Do they warm up to you? Are they pretty receptive? What do you think?
I think it definitely is mixed. I'm not going to sugarcoat this experience because I feel like patients do feel a little awkward because I am a male. But I try my best to make the patients feel comfortable, and the providers try their best to make the patients feel comfortable. So each time if I enter the room, they would let the patients know, our volunteer is male. Is that okay with you? Or do you feel comfortable? So I think the clinic is doing a really good job to create that safe space for the patients. And I'm really happy to be a part of it and just do as much as I could to make the patients feel safe as well, too.
Right. So you don't take offense to it?
No, not at all. Not
okay.
At all.
Yeah.
Totally understandable.
Yeah. Especially with, reproductive health, it is a sensitive topic, and sometimes patients are more comfortable talking to a female provider, or our CMA, Annabelle, who's female. And I just wanted to reiterate that we always ask patients ahead of time, is it okay that this volunteer who identifies as male, is is it appropriate and comfortable for you to be in the room? And we don't make a big deal out of it, right? We are just like, that's totally okay. He's going to help out outside.
Right.
Because there's still plenty to do outside.
Yeah, plenty to do, for sure.
Especially when we're busy, there's plenty for Ganling to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you miss out on the experience?
I wouldn't say I'm missing out. It's just part of the experience, I think.
Yeah.
It's just not being able to have the patient to feel comfortable to you. I think it's definitely the part of the experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are also patients that are comfortable with me, and I could just make the most out of it just by learning a lot, by listening carefully, and just that experience just mattered more to me.
Right. And we're also, I know that Dr. Rutherford and our medical team is very intentional that when you are in the room, when you are allowed to be in the room, that where you stand is also really important to make sure the patient is comfortable. It's never directly into an area that's need to be more covered up, correct?
Right,
Can you speak a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So in our exam room, we have those curtains.
Yes.
That would...
Privacy curtains, yes.
Yeah, and the bed and me would have this curtain, and I wouldn't see anything that's, more sensitive, and then but it doesn't really bother me because I could still hand off some instruments at times to the providers, and I could also look at the screen when we do ultrasound. So there's still plenty to learn.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's so important that when you're able to participate, when the patient does allow you to participate, the conversations that the provider is having with the patient, that's so important for you, right? To hear, because there might be some things that Dr. Rutherford is repeating, and you're like, oh, that I know what she's going, where she's going. This patient has BV, this patient has vaginitis or something like that. And so you're able to have a lot of hands-on experiences.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big part for me, yeah.
Okay. Do you have friends that are volunteering in other areas? What has been their experience versus here? Do you get to kind of say, wow, I get to do a little bit more?
Yeah, I could definitely speak about that. So I have so many friends that also volunteer at the bigger medical centers and hospitals, and all they tell me is, oh, I just escort patients. I push cards for the patients, and I get cabs for the patients. I was like, yeah, that's absolutely super cool, but I feel like I'm doing a lot more cooler things, but I'm not trying to brag. So.
Well, we're so privileged and honored to have you a part of our team. It's been so fun to get to know who you are, and it's very evident that you have a heart for medicine and patient care, and you're like one of the easiest people to get along with. So we're just really grateful that you've picked us and that it all worked out, and that hopefully we can keep you forever. But I know you're going to go off to bigger and better things. Just don't forget about us little guys when you're off doing cool things. But so, just for our listeners out there who, have an interest in helping out with 3W, an interest in serving your community, we really want to encourage you to, check us out, check out our website, get to know who we are, and maybe this is a place that could benefit you in your career or just giving back to the community as a whole. We encourage you to reach out to us and touch base with any of our volunteers and get their perspective on their experience. So thank you again, Ganling, for your time
thank you for having me.
Yeah, and sharing your experience with us. It is very unique, so I wanted to let our listeners know more about it. So
awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again to our loyal listeners. Thank you for tuning in as always. If you're interested in learning more about 3W, please visit our website. That is the number 3, letter W, and the word medical.org. So 3wmedical.org. If you like what you're hearing, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode. As always, we're looking for more individuals who want to assure that every woman in Seattle has access to free sexual health services that does not make money off of the choices she makes. If you're interested, please be generous. It does take money to put on these podcasts. It does take time and energy to do that. So if you could do your part, $10 a month is what we're asking you to sign up for. So until next time, all you listeners out there, stay healthy and be well.